Hello viewers, welcome everyone for the PowerApps YouTube channel. This is my first video I'm going to make here. I'm trying to use a lot of latest user controls, and we have a new feature called um, like stored procedures we can directly use inside the PowerApps forms or PowerApps Canvas app wherever we want. So I'm going to demonstrate that one today. So going forward, like I'm going to all related videos to the Power Apps, latest using the latest controls, what are the latest features, different scenarios and real-time scenarios sometimes, how we can create some forms and get the data and reports and a lot of different things we're going to learn from here. So my request is like if you wanted to keep updated with the latest features, please subscribe to my channel Explore Apps. Okay, so I'll not continue my uh, advertisement for a longer time. So let me start explaining about the particular application which we are going to develop right now. So this is a simple person form. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate which connects to the stored procedures to get the data, some of the data, and insert some data into the database and get the person ID value from the database back to the front end form. So we have a Power Apps screen here. This is the so let me open my default Power Apps form. So what I did was like instead of spending a lot of time in designing and changing the control names, what I did was like I created a simple form, Power Apps Canvas actually. So it's a Canvas app, and inside the Canvas app, I have something called created a new screen called person form. Okay, this person form, it's not, I'm not using any form controls here. I'm using the simply a container, and container contains a few of the labels. On the left side, as we see, is self-explanatory, and the same thing on the right side is the new preview controls. So in order to enable preview controls, I will explain that one in the next video. For now, I wanted to demonstrate how to connect to the stored procedure from the Power Apps. So here, in order to use a preview, like the latest preview controls display like this, when we are trying to use, not here, sorry. So go to the control center. So you have text input. So this is the latest control in the preview mode. Once these are ready for use for everyone and it's available for everyone to use, and it will convert into regular controls automatically. So there are a lot of features with the few preview controls. We'll discuss that one in a later session. For now, okay, I'm trying to use these controls on the preview controls, which looks like a lightweighted controls than the older controls. So let's display this one, and right now my form is empty. So what I used is there are few text boxes and one drop down here for the suffix, and a date control here for the date of birth, and again few text boxes and a drop down for the state lookup table, and zip code is a text box again. And I have a button, submit button. I have to write a code for that one. We'll write the code together. So in order to connect to the database, first we have to let me delete all these things which I do not want. um, so that is a refresh. Actually accidentally I hit the refresh. Let me remove everything from here. So right now, in order to connect, right now I'm connecting to on-premises database. Okay, instead of SharePoint or any kind of other external database, I have my own gateway to use it. So in order to use the on-premises SQL Server database, we have to purchase a gateway. It is a premium license we have to purchase. Once we connect to the gateway and gateway is ready to use, then you can use the add data to connect to particular uh, database actually. So in order to do that, so what I'm going to do, click on the add data, then I'll say click type SQL Server, find SQL Server, which is a premium control. Here you see diamond, which is all the premium controls. Click on the control, and which will show you which is the global connection reference I already created using my gateway connected to one particular database. I connect to the database. When I click on that particular connection reference, it will open all the tables available inside the database, also all the stored procedures inside the database. This is this new feature, stored procedures, shown here. Earlier there was no tab called stored procedures, only tables were there. So we are going to switch to tables, sorry, stored procedures, and I would like to select get suffix because I have a suffix in the form. So and use the save to use for galleries or tables. So I will select this one in order to use to display inside my drop down or any kind of table in future. So for now, and I'll have get person. I wrote like a little bit of extra functionality, like kind of thing over there for later sessions. For now, we'll use only few of the stored procedure. But right now, I'm going to select all the stored procedures and save to use for the gallery and tables. And also if I wanted to use somehow like if there is a requirement, but within this connection reference I try to use all the tables also. Connect them. Once you connect, it will pop up with the connection reference and the table names here. All the tables come individually, but stored procedures are grouped into one group name with the reference name. So whether if you wanted to change the stored procedures reference name, we can change it. What we wanted to change, like that is a user defined name we can give. So I will simply call it as X procs. That way like X is, I would like to put the name X, so my channel called X Power App, so I would like to go with X procs. Okay, X procedures. Okay, so I'll just simply save this one for now, so I'll not lose any context here. So now what I have is the suffix drop down I got to fill on the page. In order to fill the suffix drop down, we can do it on items itself, but I would like to, if I have to use a variable like suffix in the multiple places or multiple different places, so I would like to use suffix as a table variable kind of thing I will create. So on um, click on the person form, there is a screen, and on visible property, what I would like to do is I would like to create set a variable called, so it's called variable suffix suffixes. Okay, let's say plural suffixes. And why I'm creating this variable, this is going to be my table name, because when we connect to the stored procedure, we'll be getting multiple rows or records from the database table. So what happens is, okay, before I do anything here, I will just put like empty blank, so I'll not get any error. So let's do one thing. So let's connect to the stored procedure directly, and I will demonstrate what is the problem and how do we resolve that one. So for now I have xprocs.get suffix. I don't have any parameters, so no parameters. If I have any parameters, I will open close parenthesis and open close function brackets or curly braces, and followed by field names. But right now I don't have any input parameters, so just open close parenthesis dot result sets, because stored procedure is a returns a result sets. Out of result sets, I'm going to take the table one only. So table one, usually you will not get any like autocomplete kind of thing, so you just type the table one. So what is the problem here? If you see here, table one is untyped object, it's not like a typed object. So from this I wanted to extract the typed object or table object actually. In order to do that, so table contains many rows. So what I'm going to do, for all this table, for each and every record, I'm going to create an attribute. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create an attribute. Close this one. So it's good, format is good. Now what is this next thing I got to do? I have a stored procedure, okay, which is going to return me get suffix. So suffix I will get suffix ID, suffix code. So only two values I'm going to get it. Two fields actually. Two fields I'm going to get it from the database stored procedures. So what I'm going to do, you can write any name you want, SID you want, or anything, but I would like to put the clean name suffix ID so that we'll not forget in future. And next is this record dot suffix ID. Next field is suffix code, that is this record dot suffix code is my second attribute, actually second attribute and second property, sorry, field from the database. So this, the right side, this record dot whatever field name you are writing, it should exactly match the field name in the stored procedure or the stored procedure return table. So the right side always should match, left side it's a user defined names. So you can give whatever names you would like to state, SID, suffix ID, S code, suffix code, whatever you would like to. Now what happens here is this all information is converted into a proper table. But this all information I wanted to save into a variable, that is nothing but this var suffixes. I'll just replace these double quotes with my new code and format it. It simply looks like this. So I'm trying to get all the table information here for each record from the stored procedure, convert each record into my own attribute. Each record is converted into this attribute. So I will get like n number of rows and this is the table. So finally I have the table here. So what happens right now is, and the second thing is, I want to do one more thing, that is I wanted to create one variable called reset variable where suffix reset, I will make it as false and again I will make it as true. Actually some people just do true only or false only, but I would like to do both of them because whenever the page loads it becomes false and it becomes true. So the values in the suffix always refresh with the latest data from the database actually. So let's me close this one, minimize this one. So we have a suffix table, we have a suffix reset boolean variable which will like used for refreshing the filter data. So what is the filter? So when I'm trying to populate the data into the suffix drop down, so I'm going to filter uses in many ways to filter the table with some of the like queries like where suffix IDs XYZ something like that. But now I'm trying to filter nothing. I'm getting the filter data but without any where conditions, so are such parameters. So simply filter where suffix with this where suffix reset, because suffix reset was true, false and true, because it becomes true always. So I'll get the latest data whenever my page loads. So let's do one thing right now. Let me close this one. I bound the data on the items property of the drop down, that is the drop downs items property, and I bound this one to the table. If you see here, is the table here. Now when we run this one, are we going to get the data? No. Why? Okay, there is a catch. So now what we got to do is, so this is the drop down. Now because my form I wrote the code on visible, so my form is still not out of context in the same context. So for that what I will do, I'll create a dummy form or dummy screen kind of thing beside my person form. It can be anything, or you can switch to person app also and come back to person form because it become as a load. So I would like to do simply create a dummy form or empty screen kind of thing, switch here and switch it back. Now what happens? It loads with some data. So but there is because I have written some other things before, that is why it loads with data here. Let me remove these things. There are a couple of attributes I added here. Now what happens is I'll get all the different numbers actually. Okay, I don't know what these numbers is, but for now what I will do, I will just close this one. So for click on the suffix drop down, go to edit on the properties. Where is the properties window? Properties window just beside editing pen icon here. Click on the properties and you get the properties. Click on the respective controls properties and click on the edit. Now here there are few fields we created, attributes we created. One is the suffix code and suffix ID. So suffix as code supposed to display in the drop down. So select the suffix code first, and suffix id is the value. So it should be there internally, but it should not be displaying to the user. So I will select the suffix id later. So suffix code and suffix id. Click save, click run, and see what happens simply. And there is a one more new feature with the latest Power Apps. You don't have to every time click the run button. So click alt button simply and click the drop down or whichever control you are trying to test with. So you see the data here. You don't have to click run button every time. So that is the new feature. Click alt, okay, alt button and respective control, alt button respective control, something like that. Now the same thing we are going to do with the state drop down. State drop down, I have different stored procedure for that one. So what I'm going to do on the page load, expand this drop down or the PowerFX drop down. So I just like to do I don't like to do copy paste most of the time. In order to save the video time, I'm trying to do the copy paste. Okay, so here, and I will call it as USA states. Okay, simply, and I will remove this one. Xprox dot get USA states, close, and it's also returning only here. Okay, let's close this one, remove. So now I will go back to the stored procedure, and USA states is returning four properties, or four fields actually. And four fields are state id, state name, state code, capital city, and region. So what I want to do is I can take one or two fields. If I want, I can take all the fields. That is up to me, up to the user, based on our requirements. So I would like to have all the fields here. So what I did, I'll just comment it out, and I will just do one thing. For the fast coding, copy paste coding is this is the easiest way to do that, the coding. Now what I have is, so easy. Let's, and I missed something, commas. So without commas it will throw an error. So now change the proper names, easiest and fastest way. Sometimes typing is fast, sometimes copy pasting is also very fast. So let's do this, and I got the USA states here, and I'm going to bind USA states to the drop down again. That is, just save this one and click on the drop down because I already created before. So I will remove fields here, So what I'm going to do, drop down items property and the filter items properties, where USA reset, where state reset actually, sorry. So then I will do the format, let the format be there, and save that one. That is good. Now what is the next thing I got to do? Just switch the form back and forth. So I will get this latest data here, but still I don't see the data as I mentioned before. So I have to put the fields, assign the fields to the drop down. So click on the properties of the drop down, click edit fields, and select the, if you see, like I have 5 attributes. Out of 5 attributes, I'm going to select only the attributes which I wanted to display. Some places I want to display full name, some places I want to display like just the code. For now I wanted to use the code only, and the state id is the second value parameter. So just save that one, and what I said earlier was close this and click on alt and drop down. Boom, we have all the data here. Okay, Alaska to Wyoming. Nice. Now the next part is saving the person form. So when I click on submit, I wrote a little bit of code. No, I did not wrote anything. So person has sorry, submit is a button. Submit button has on visible property. Sorry, on select property. So what I'll do, I'll just remove from the person form. It's not able to clickable. So I wanted to remove this one. So just removed. So nice. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a new button over there. View button. Okay. Click on the button. So button came here. Don't like to move around. Somehow button is not responding. So let's don't want put effort on that one for now because that is not the session I'm working. So let's go with the button classic. So button classic, I pasted the button classic here and change the button name to button submit. Okay, so simply and change the label to submit. Okay, so now on button we have some property called select. Using the select property, I am going to write similar code what we wrote before to get the um, data for suffix and states. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create for all, actually set variable. What I'm going to return from the my store insert store procedure is I'm going to return a person ID simply where person info I may contain one record or many records, assuming that I am getting the table here. So click on this and close. Next I have is for all, open close. And in the for all I'm going to call the store procedure, that is xproc dot insert person. And insert person has so many properties in it, the input parameters. So I have to work on the input parameter properties. So for now what I'll do, create open close. When I wanted to pass the parameters, it's open close. Now I have a last name. Last name is my property. It's coming from text. Last name. I hope I did not change the names of the controls. Let me change that one fastly. I thought I changed. My mistake. Text last name. Text first name. Let's see. These controls are visible. Text mi. Suffix is good. Daytime is, this is the daytime calendar picker, and this is the text street one. This is the text street 2. And text city and drop down state and this thing. Okay, nice. Somehow I forgot to name the few of the controls. Let's work on these things fastly. Last name is coming from text last name. Still don't like. I did not press enter, my mistake, sorry for delay. Text street 1, street 2, city, everything is good now. I'm going to do, click on the form, error form, last name, txt, last name dot value. So it's going to be value because it's a text, right? So value, and I will just copy paste. Actually, no, I don't want to copy because everything is a different name. Text first name dot value, and I have next is a middle initial, text mi dot value, and I have a data suffix actually. So I'm picking the drop down values suffix dot selected dot suffix id instead of code. Code is only for display, suffix id is for picking up the value to the database. And date of birth supposed to coming from dt control, date of birth dot dt, date of birth dot selected date. That will by default provide you mmdd YYYY format. This is the short date. So next I have is street 1 coming from text street 1 dot text. So somehow text street 1 is not recognized. Let me see if I don't have that one. So I don't like that. So again I'm press enter every time. So yeah, text street 1 dot value. Now I have street 2 coming from text street 2 dot value. Finally city, I have text city dot value, state id coming from drop down state dot selected dot state id. So it's coming from there. Finally the zip code, then zip, text zip dot value. So right now I'm not doing any kind of formatting or anything. Okay, still throwing some error, right? So what is the problem? Problem here is for all required output parameter, output table, that is like result set dot table 1. As I mentioned before, Showpage returns a table of many tables. I'm trying to get the table 1 data. So open close, actually my mistake, parenthesis, parenthesis, and open close function brackets. So now it's throwing error here. So I'm going to get out of which going to get the person ID, and this record dot person ID. The right side name supposed to be exactly the same. So what is the problem now? So I have person. I'm missing one more parenthesis, comma. After table there's supposed to be a comma. Okay, I used a comma and it's everything is good. Now I got the data. Now I wanted to notify the user with a message that is called notify, and the person ID, that is what is the person ID? That is the first of where person info dot person ID. So if I show you like this, you'll get the dot person ID. So, and this is the information. So, and I display for the 3 seconds of the time. So just save this one, format it, everything looks good. Let's see if we are able to save the data successfully. So click on this. I have a last name. The best last name is John Smith. No middle initial, John Smith 1. Okay, let's put middle initial John Smith John Anthony Smith. Okay. Okay. So like this and date of birth. I right now I'm not you doing any like um, validations. So I would like to simply go for our date, that is 2001 January 1st. Okay, so let's do that. Street name, okay, 151121. Okay, state street. I don't have a street. Maybe I will put the street apartment 111. I'll say Seattle, and I have to select respective state. There is no validation, so I will select like 98148, something like this. So let's see if I can save this data without any error. Click on submit. I'm not cleaning the form yet. If I get the proper notification, the person ID cannot be converted to a number. That is fine. We'll change that one into the text later. First, let me go to the database and see if I okay. So I'm able to insert the latest person here because there was like a lot of people times I inserted with the dummy value, so which was clicked. So the 14 number, if you see, what I'll do is for now I will truncate the table, and just make sure that we are going to get the proper information here. So just save that one, convert into text, because id is a number trying to concatenate with the text, so it is throwing an error. So now I converted it into a text. So let's save this one. Good thing is that I have not cleared the form, so let's click on submit again. So person id cannot be converted to a number. We'll see that one in a moment. So as I mentioned, we are able to save the data. I supposed to get person ID as 1 return from the application. So let's see. That is the concatenation, my mistake. So let's save John Smith one more time. So I got the person ID 1, which is wrong because I inserted 2, not 1. So because it's a wrong, right? So we whatever I inserted, I supposed to get the latest person information. Let's go to the stored procedure and see what I have done. So recently I inserted 1, but I supposed to get 1. It's in the same session, that is why I'm getting like that. But like usually I supposed to get the latest value. So if I close this, and so that is how we are going to insert the data and get the data from the stored procedure. So if you like any kind of to make some comments or any kind of comments to me, please comment on this video, so that like my future video is going to be more explanatory and less time taking and more explanatory and easy demonstration kind of thing. Thanks everyone. Okay. Please subscribe to my channel X Power Apps, like and comment and share with your friends who want to learn Power Apps. Thank you. Bye for now.